All right, how are you doing? He's hoping that all is well with you from wherever you are listening to us. And for those who are watching, thank you so much for taking your time to go through our YouTube channel. Thank you. My name is Eugene Anangwe. The show you're listening to is One on One. The hashtag for you to get in touch or get interactive on Twitter is 101 RW. We had expected or had announced earlier that we would be having the Minister of East African Community today. That was Madame Valentine, but she has not been able to make it on the program today due to unavoidable circumstances. But of course, due to the spirit and the notion of right of reply, we are hosting one Pierre Kalinganire. Did I pronounce it right?
Yes, right.
Thank you so much. An industrial engineer and also CEO Pitt Energy Company, and he's also a technical expert on standards development. Welcome to One on One.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll be talking to you in the capacity of an investor or someone who deals in businesses that has to go through some of the procedures as far as standard issues are concerned. Plus, of course, you will also be giving us insight as an expert on issues of energy, because we understand that Rwanda needs also to produce extra energy to supply its population, and we'll be talking about this Pitt Energy project or the company itself. Also, majorly why you're here is to also respond to some of the things or some of the statements that were made by our guest here from the Rwanda the standards board, because we were talking about the issues of certification and the procedures that business people have to go through to have their goods certified. So basically, before we get into those details, maybe you could tell us a bit about yourself, a bit about the Pitt Energy project, the Pitt Energy Company. Where are we at? What do we have? What information can you share with us?
Yeah, thank you, Eugene, and thank you for inviting us for this opportunity, especially when it comes to this issue, which is hand the business people, especially as we have a chat on Twitter about this RBA certificate. But before I start, as I said, I'm Pierre Kalinganire. I'm an industrial engineer, trained from Belgium Industrial School. I have been working for Rwanda Investment Group since 2008. I was in charge of a project. When we started, Pitt Business was a project under Rwanda Investment Group. Then later on, the project became a company where I'm the CEO now.
Okay.
The company is called Pitt Energy Company. It's owned by Rwanda Investment Group and the government of Rwanda. We are especially in pit mining business. So we have been in business since 2009. Our main client is Cimerwa. When we started, RIG was owning 90% share in Cimerwa. So the main challenge was the fuel we use in our cement plant. It used to be our cement plant.
Okay.
But now we have a small share. Now it's managed by PPC. It's a South African company, but we still have a share as RIG. So in terms of pit business, I think PEC, Pitt Energy Company, is only company I can say in Africa,
yes,
which is do business in pit at the industrial level. The other people try to do pit business, but still a very small scale.
Small scale.
So since last year, when the Cimerwa started building the new plant, also the new opportunity for us as pit miners, we now, I think beginning of this year, we signed a big contract with Cimerwa, which was 9 billion. And also last month we signed with Ewasa. Ewasa is setting up a power plant, 15 megawatts. I think you have heard about 15 megawatt power plant. But for us, our role in that project will be supplying pit. So we signed the contract with, it was Ewasa before. Now we changed it to EDCN, which is Energy Development.
How has that change affected some of the agreements you had in the pipeline?
Yeah, I think there's not really a change because it's like a continuity. What's changed the name only.
Okay.
But I think what's changed also now, things it seems to go quicker than before. So we signed what we call interim agreement, which we supply EDC 20,000 ton. So that's 20,000 ton. It's already in our stock. Very soon we'll be increasing our mining capacity. Now our mining capacity is around 26,000 tons.
So what percentage do you think in looking forward will the peat energy have in terms of the sources of energy for this country as we speak today?
Yeah, but that would be like a big question, because when we speak, especially for a private company, we not really speak for. That is, I think, a view for Minefra or those guys in work in public who has the responsibility of saying this is the national production.
Yes.
But for us, just we are looking opportunity as a private people.
Yes.
But I think as I can quote, I have been peat business for 6 years now. Peat can contribute a lot, but also a lot investment is needed, because it's not like you can wake up tomorrow and build up 100 megawatt power plant. But there is some project which is in pipeline, but they are.
Are you getting this full support? Because I'm sure this is one of the things that probably will be needed to, as you've said, the key institutions that are your major clients.
Yeah.
These are key institutions that Rwanda depends on. Also, economically, you talked of the power, institution. You've talked about others. What kind of support are you getting, either from the private sector and also from the government?
But sometimes I tell people we don't really need a support.
You don't need it.
We need a partnership, because it's a win-win situation.
Okay, so what are you having in this case today? Do you have the partnership or you have the support?
Normally we have a kind of partnership, because support, it's like someone supporting you to go get somewhere. Because we are on the same road, we want to move. We have to support them, they have to support that. I think it's a kind of partnership. So I think government set up a power plant. This power plant need a raw material. We are the supplier of that raw material. And I think also what we get from government, it's a concession. This concession also, it was there since the Rwanda exists. So we bring that business opportunity to our shareholder first and to the country, because when we are in mining season, we hire more than 200 people direct. So 200 people in the district. And I think if people, maybe sometimes they don't believe it. I always tell people, you guys, you come to our site, especially between June to September, and see how many people we have on the ground. And you talk to the people, we have really teach them how to use the money. We don't pay cash in the hand. All these guys, they have to have a bank account. They have to bring us that proof they are saving somehow. This really, when you go to Nzahaha, where we are operating, people, they have really, we changed the life of people with our small contribution. So, and I think when it comes to support we need sometimes, we need people to understand our business, especially the people in...
Because it's a new thing. It's a new form of even energy, because later on we'll be getting into the details, the nitty-gritty of some of the challenges you guys are facing. But it's a new form of also, mining. I don't know if indeed I should say the process is different, or the whole idea of mining peat for energy is the difference. So how is the community around there? You've talked of the employment opportunities, but then you have the little issues of land ownership, where you have the source of the raw material or the raw material. How are you guys dealing with that?
Yeah, lucky enough, the land we are using, it's a marshland. So this land, it's owned by the government. And also the other things, the people, normally they use this land in short season. Especially when it is a dry season, because when it is rainy season, even people, they can't grow anything because there's a full of water. So we create an opportunity to the people, local people. They get more that was compared to the before we come. Why? Because some people also, they doesn't know in the marshland where there is a huge pit, you can't grow anything because the temperature is so high. When you plant any crop, it's burns out. So now we are taking that burden to the marshland. We produce energy, and especially also we have the other concession where you like in Rwabsoro in dry season, when you don't mine this pit, it's banned itself. When you discuss with environmental people who normally was against pit mining, you explain, say, if we don't mine it, it will burn out. The CO2, the pollution, it will go to atmosphere. So if we mine it, we burn it in a controlled manner, and we get out
Energy
that
out of
energy.
it. Yes.
So we save the other resources we could use.
Okay.
Which it's really a debate we had when we started. Even if from the ministry in 2008, 2009, it was very hard to convince them that we can mine pit.
And today you're doing it.
Yeah.
Now let's now jump into the issue that has led to drawing of the battle lines. After we talked about the issue of the Rwanda Standards Board and the new mechanism that they are now operating on after the changing of names from RBS to Rwanda Standards Board, you had burning issues. You had issues that you really wanted to put out there. You wanted to get answers to. And then some of them involved or included the time it takes for you to get clearance or the standard procedures that need to be followed to have your goods cleared or something like that. What's really your story? I mean, for those who don't get to understand what was going on.
Yeah, for RBS issue of SGS certificates, my main issue is about standard itself. The idea, as I told you, I'm a technical expert on ISO technical committee, which means we are small group in the country where we are participating in standard development.
Yes.
So the whole concept of standard, it's you comply to the standard voluntarily. It's not a must.
Nobody has to force
you, because the standard, the compliance of standard, it give you a power.
This is for ISO.
It's for ISO.
Yes.
But when you come to this certificate, they call it conformity certificate.
Yes.
You ask RBS, my product, what standard should I comply to? So before even I order my equipment, I should know what I should ask to the supplier. They said, no, SGS will know. I said, no, you have to publish what people have to comply to. Then if you are not complying that standard, there should be a kind of measure or punishment.
So are you trying to say today they have not put on white and black the standards that you have to comply to?
No. I was expecting to meet someone from RBS, but unfortunately today no one was. No one is here because I have proof. First of all, this process of SGS, it take time, it take money. I can give you an example. I ordered a spare part. Normally, this spare part took 2 weeks. From the day I ordered from my supplier, they put it on DHL, and I get it in 2 weeks in Kigali. As I told you, we are in pit mining. We have equipment
you need urgently. Also.
We bought it. We bought that equipment in 2009. The other example. This manufacturer, it's the only manufacturer of this equipment in the world. I was in the International Pit Symposium last month. It's the only supplier. Anyone in the world in pit business, he will order from this factory. So first, my question I ask, what SGS going to ask the single...
SGS, for those who don't understand, is that institution that has been put in place to now check the standards, right?
It's a company, I think Swiss company, which do the work instead of RBS.
Yes.
One of the things I have in my case, my supplier is located 400 kilometers from the office of SGS. First of all, if I have to comply with any standard, I pay the money for inspection of my spare part. I should know exactly what SGS is going to inspect before even he inspect.
So today the situation is that nobody knows what they're going to inspect.
What is sad is at the end, the certificate I have, they signed by SGS, it said not applicable. What they went to check, it was not applicable. And they signed. They send my spare coming. If it was not applicable, why they allow the spare to come? because I paid for nothing.
So at the end of the day, what then are you calling for? Because again, the Rwanda Bureau of Standards, rather the today Rwanda Standards Board, says, sometimes we take a lot of time on certain goods or certain products because science is science. There are certain products that will have to take a lot of time in testing so that they can be able to see and verify whether they are of quality or of good use or they meet the standards. So they say those who complain that we take too long need to understand that there are certain products that will have to take more time. But you don't agree with this?
I don't agree with them because what science is science. That is good with science.
Yes.
So if it is science, they should tell us, I'm going to, number one, I will check this. Number two, I will check this. Number three, I will check this. If there is 10 points, they said, okay, if 8 points is okay, maybe I said, okay, it's meeting the conformity. But when you tell them, tell me what are you going to check to my goods, they are not able to tell you what they're checking.
So what you're trying to tell us today is then what do they usually tell you is has been approved as having met the standards? When they give you that certificate and tell you, all right, your product meets the standards, then what is it that is usually there that they have said they looked at?
Unfortunately, I could give this it's not secret because the other problem we have, we are dealing with the big supplier. It's not a small supplier. For them, we are not even representing 0% to their business. So someone to do this process, you have to understand, you have to send to the supplier the form, what they say, assessment conformity form.
Yes.
This supplier, they have to assign someone in his company to complete this form and send this form to SGS in their country or nearby. SGS, we assess the form, they will tell you, we give you an appointment. When they give appointment, they have to organize the logistic from the factory to SGS warehouse or somewhere where the inspection will take place. You see, this is additional cost.
And time also.
Yeah, in my case, it took a month and a half. So this cost, it should be added to my spare part. The minimum we can pay, it's written here to SGS invoice. It's $235. So if it happened to you, you order a small spare for $100.
Yes.
You will pay,
on top of that,
you will pay the double the value of the spare you ordered. This is the minimum.
So what are you thinking is causing this? What exactly do you think, in your own, as a person who has these skills of standard issues and procedures, what do you think is causing this kind of problem today?
And I think sometimes this organization, RBS, I do respect the authority. They do a good work, but sometimes, especially in this case, they just took idea, which is good idea, because we know, all of us, we know that there is some substandard product on the market. But the best way of doing this, it's not to hire a company where I'm going to pay VAT. My company going to pay VAT in Europe or the other country.
It should be here.
It should be here. Why should I going to pay VAT in the other country? These the other things which maybe people doesn't count. I hope SGS created at least 100 or 200 job because of this contract. These people, these Rwandese people should benefit this kind of work. Should be trained and doing it here.
So what you're saying is there seems to be foul play in giving this job to this international company.
Yeah, and also the other things. This SGS inspection should not be like a general application. Should be case by case. For example, if me, myself, my company or other people, as I told you, some people, they are importing goods for their own use.
Yes.
The other people, they are importing goods for selling the public.
Yes.
Because the public can't check. In that case,
someone has to check.
But in my case, I'm just ordering spare part from my supplier who supply me the equipment. What is SGS going to check? because between me and my supplier,
But it may not meet the standards, so they feel
Which
it also has to
standard?
be met, to be checked.
The other thing I said,
Yes.
tell me which standard should I meet to my equipment. That's the one thing. That information is not available, and which is sure that doesn't available. Someone is giving me a certificate saying all points non-applicable, non-applicable.
So
And
the
they
question
charge
is
me-
the question is what is applicable?
yeah, what is applicable? If it was not applicable and it was mandatory, I should not import this spare. But I imported.
But then what do they tell you? Because these people, I'm sure they have contacts, they have representatives. Have you got in touch with them? What have they told you?
They said if you have anything, you ask RBS. When you ask RBS said you ask SGS. When you ask SGS, they give you this format. You just have to pay, and you don't know why you are paying. What is really very sad, it's the time. I am not again, because even before we were paying, just when our goods was arriving to Majerwa, there was some people from RBS which is come and checking. I don't know, maybe have a look. I remember in 2009 when we import our equipment, we told them, they said, what is that? This is equipment we're using in pit mining. So they ask you to explain what is that.
So meaning some of these officials who are supposed to be the ones knowing what they're checking don't understand whatever is coming.
I'm not saying that I don't understand. You can't understand everything. There is some special field. Let's give you an example.
Yes.
We are in gas
Methane.
extraction.
Yes.
Our sister company, we are developing technology.
Yes.
This is a new thing. When we bring a spare in our technology development, where there is no one knows, where it's part of our secrecy behind our technology, how a guy from RBS gonna know this spare? He can't. Even myself, if you show me a spare which is used, I don't know, in meat processing, which is not really my field,
You may not understand.
I may not understand.
But maybe if I play the devil's advocate in this case and be on their side, maybe this is what would explain the time it takes to check your product, because they have to look for the person who's specialized in knowing what exactly it is.
My issue is RBS and certificate of conformity. The idea is good, but implementation has
Is
an
the
issue.
problem.
It's the problem. The problem is not certification, but they have to put case by case. I was discussing one of my friends who has a big supermarket. They import goods from UK. They bring 40-feet container where there is a 50,000 type of goods. They told me, I want to know if I import a chewing gum, if this guy of SGS, what they are going to check. Let's say they're giving certificate. If something wrong happened after, is RBS responsible for this product?
Who do you think should be responsible in this case?
Yes, someone who gives certificate.
Okay.
But as you don't have any agreement with them,
It becomes a problem.
it's become a problem.
So looking forward, maybe as we end, looking at maybe people who are out there, business community members like you who are out there facing this kind of a problem, where do you see a solution being found? Do you feel involved in some of these decisions made by these institutions that are meant to make your doing business easier?
As the video I sent you by email, I said the in Rwanda we are doing better in business, but I think also as we have one-stop center for construction,
Yes.
we should also have one-stop center for business.
Yes.
Where any action which will impact the business should be maybe in RDB. If business people know that any business, anything which will really impact their business,
Yes.
it should be RDB and Rwanda Revenue Authority. That would be simple. Because tomorrow RBS put this kind of certificate which is cost a lot of, this is a very lot of money if it is a single company. If
Yes.
this is a lot of money. But this money also will be paid by me and you and at the local market. And I think before they implement this kind of thing, they should have at least a phase of test
To see if it is
see if it
workable
is-
or not
yeah, if
workable.
it is workable.
Now, in just 60 seconds or less, talk to RBS, talk to SGS. Just if they're listening to you, what message do you want to tell them and all those people involved in streamlining this issue?
please stop this kind of things and check first, because you may cause more problem in business people than solution.
Mhm.
Because any business has his particularity. You can't take one single measure and apply it to everyone. This SGS certificate should be by category of people.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Pierre,
Yeah, okay.
for also spending time with us here. It was a right of reply edition for the issues of standardization, equipment, and certification. Thank you for being on One, sir.
Thanks.
All right, there you have it. Eugene Anangwe signing off right about now. See you again next time. Let's keep the conversation going on. The hashtag is 101RW. Goodbye.